Well, hey everybody, David Cross again. One more quick video on two different concepts specifically for people related to security, IP address security, that need to have insight into the IP address management tools and quickly having the ability to call out information as needed to validate IP addresses, host names, DNS domain names, things like that. So two projects that have come to mind that I have been working on that were really basic to start working with that I'm also including in some of the projects I'll include for that PS module I'm working with, is going to be the ability to quickly go using a PowerShell UI module. This is built on PowerShell, PowerShell Studio, and it generates a real simple UI that runs on Windows. And so in this, I have, and will and continue to add some more, so all of the data sets that might be of interest for querying when you're an engineer looking at logs or IPs or other data. And so the concept is I wanted to be able to go out and look in some of the things like IP addresses to find any devices and perhaps their device resource records that are related to some wildcard search. So just no matter what it was, having the ability to just go query any of the selected tables. And so in this example that I had did, it ran two different exports using the export APIs to get the IP address of the host name that we found, and then to pull back the device details. And then the second was the device resource records that it found with its count, and here showing you the ANPTR record. So now one, as an IPAM engineer, and I was looking at a DNS resource record, if I noticed there was no PTR record, that might flag something or spark a flag. So there may be some other things here that I can add to, do some improvements. But the general idea was to be able to do quick searches across large sets of data and to be able to pull back wildcards or exact searching. Okay. Now I also tied this back into, of course, the login ability and then the resource or the rows. So having it just return a certain number of rows, because I really don't know that if you're using this frequently and constantly making queries across all these tables, what the real impact is to the data. So if anything happens that I have to extract this or remove it from here, I will. But as far as I've seen so far, it seems to be okay. We just may need to do some additional checks. Okay, so that was one, and that was something I just did really, really quick when I was testing out the module and making sure it works. Now, the other thing I was working on was the ability to go out and do the same thing with DNS domains. And as some of you may have seen, I have a utility that allows me to go out and do DNS query logging, and it does this via SSH and or the ability to load query logs offline and through my query log browser, see both real-time instant data and then also statistical data about the logs I'm reading. Right, so it was really a fantastic tool that I wrote. I'm still building on this. And one of the capabilities was the IP address of the client and doing something with it, but then also perhaps in the query questions to determine, well, if there's a device being queried, who is the registrar? So as I was looking through my query logs, I see all these domains from all of these IoT devices, which is effectively every single thing on the planet at this point who has an IP address. And they're always querying and querying home. And if you ever look at your, again, home network or even a small lab or something, you'll see that one device may spark 30, 40 DNS queries a minute or an hour per device or per app on your phone. Your phone's constantly talking. So don't want to get into all of that, but when you're looking at logs like I do, you want to find out what that is. Now, I know who Google is, of course, but one of the things I tend to do often is I go out to the internet registries, do a whois query, and here it is. Now, the one thing I want to suggest is, if you don't know about this company, before I go into that part of it, is WhoisXML, and has a great company that allows you to do some queries and pull IP data, setting back DNS domains and others. And I hope they don't mind me showing this because it only helps them. But I use this as signed up, and that gives me the ability to do some of that functionality where I can use an API and a token to go out and make these calls. And so I'm also creating a Node-RED workflow, which we'll put out there again to make it on GitHub and available, that I'm making this call into. So all of those requests are funneled back through that source, and it then handles the key. So it's always private from the application itself. All right. So that was just one example. Like mine themselves, this is all we could do this anything we want to. IPM. I can't type. Yeah, so pulling in back information is very, very quick, and they have other APIs for IP lookups and things like that. So, security guys, as you're looking through all this and bringing all these different things together, keep in mind there's tools to do this, and this is what I hope to bring together in a single, or multiple little utilities to help you along. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment, or let me know if you want any more detail. And I, of course, will try to make these available through my GitHub along with everything else in that PS module. All right, so take care. Hope that wasn't too long. And just so for the guys with the security, again, keep in mind and let me know if you need help. Take care.